Jen.
Thank you so much, Howard. And we're tracking a few windward Amalka showers, and then the trade winds last throughout this week of fall break. I'll break that down for you coming up. On a serious note, talking about Milton, we've been focused on Milton for quite some time, and we will be seeing the sea surface temperatures as a major hurricane. So that's fuel for these systems. Let's take a closer look at the satellite image, and you can see within the last 24 hours, it was a strong Category 5 system, now downgraded to a Category 4. Very dangerous. How massive the system is becoming, and it's inching closer and closer to Florida, making landfall by tomorrow evening, and that's going to be near Tampa area. Let's take a closer look. Winds about 150 by the time we get into the next several days, downgraded to 145 in the morning on Wednesday, and then making landfall as a strong Category 3 according to the latest track there. You can see just south of Tampa. It's that front right quadrant we're really worried about, of course, and Daytona Beach all the way to Orlando, seeing the impacts, and then it's going to jump over towards the Atlantic yet again. The storm surge, the most dangerous part of the system, we're going to be seeing that up to about 12 feet in some spots. Let's take a closer look as those winds come piling all that moisture and also water their way. They could see sustained winds up to 120 miles per hour. Those tropical storm force winds, 80 miles expanded from the center of the system. We have major first alerts to talk about for Florida, and you could see how much moisture is ahead of the system already. We're talking about Milton, how far some of those outer bands are going to be reaching the next couple of hours, and tomorrow is when it's going to make landfall, and that will be during the evening and then crossing over Florida into the Atlantic yet again. Let's take a closer look at the path here. You can actually see how strong of a system it still is. A Category 4. It continues to be a very powerful system. The storm surge likely reaching 10 feet or so, and we could be seeing up to 12 feet. As far as moisture, we're expecting up to probably about 12 to 16 inches of rain, and then it's going to cross over just south of Tampa, and you can see that front right quadrant is going to be the dangerous part of the system, along with the eye wall as well. That gets awfully close to places like Orlando too, and then it continues on as a Category 2 as it crosses over into the Atlantic, and you can see how far it stretches with all of that moisture. So a very serious situation there. We'll be watching all of the elements very carefully of Hurricane Milton, so keep it tuned here, your First Alert team. Continue to watch Milton, Grace, as we take a look. Major first alerts we're talking about right now. The winds at the center 150 east northeast is its movement, about 9 miles per hour, making it a Category 4 storm. And in a few days, you could see we are going to be seeing a lot of that energy cross over Florida. So we're talking about Wednesday night into Thursday morning, the most major impacts there. And it is going to be fast approaching the cone of uncertainty between Tampa and Fort Myers. And then it's going to impact places like Orlando. You can still see as a storm that makes its way inland or crossing over. It's a Category 2, so powerful winds there. And then it continues over the Atlantic and will continue to impact places like the Bahamas, that you can see some of that energy coming their way. Very strong hurricane. As we break down the colors for you, you can see minor to extensive will be in yellow to red and orange there, but extreme and catastrophic. Some of the communities could be completely leveled.
Now, First Alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Robbins.
And a first alert, of course, for Florida as we track Milton. So a great tool to have is our interactive radar. You can actually zoom out and look at places like Florida if you have friends and family on the mainland. So make sure to scan the QR code there and then download our H&N weather app, a great tool. As we take a look at the satellite within the last 24 hours, it has been a rough period for this system. It was upgraded to a very strong Category 5. Now it's a Category 4, but you still see how massive the system is, and depending where the side of the storm is going to hit Florida, it depends on what kind of weather they're going to get. You can actually see that front right quadrant is the most dangerous part of the storm. We're talking about 15 inches of rain, storm surge exceeding 10 feet up to 12 feet, and also the right rear, we're seeing a whole lot of flooding and the storm surge as well. The left front not as strong, but still seeing some windy conditions in the left rear. You see the winds as well. I'll take a deeper look at the storm's path coming up in a little bit.